Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Calhoun's. Taste Tennessee's best barbecue, steak, ribs, sandwiches, whatever you're looking for. It's the best in the state at Calhoun's, and it's right here in our own backyard. 9 area locations. Get out there this week. Nobody can beat Calhoun's, and if you want to take it home with you, get one of those Feed 5 or Feed 10 family packs. No need to cook tonight. Go down to Calhoun's, let them do the cooking. Calhoun's. All right. Many people have decided they want David Blackburn as Tennessee's next athletic director. If David Blackburn had a diploma from the University of Florida, none of those people would want David Blackburn as the next Tennessee athletic. I mean, that's the reason everybody wants him. He was here, and he's a UT guy. However, it looks like the AD search, which has already been slowed, it was going to be impacted by the fact that you had a chancellor search at the same time. So they've hired Beverly Davenport. She can't get started yet. She's working out her days, and she's got time before she begins. So you got that natural delay. But, Jimmy, you spoke to someone this week from the Board of Trustees who told you it could be slowed down a little bit more, and that was not met with rejoicing from the fan base.
Yeah, I talked to Rajah Jabran, and he is the vice chair of the UT Board of Trustees, and he told me that I asked him for the timetable on hiring an athletic director, and he said, well, he pointed out that Chancellor Davenport comes aboard February the 15th. They're going to hire a search firm probably. They'll put together a search committee. And then I asked a timetable. He said, well, it looks like it'll be April or May. We feel like we need to get an athletic director in here 1 or 2 months before Dave Hart's final day, which is June the 30th.
That's the interesting thing, because most people act like Dave Hart's already gone. I mean, I get it. He's a lame duck, but he's still a duck. He's still there.
He's still quacks.
Maybe lame, but he's still there. It's like there's no one over there to approve contracts or anything else. And you do have Dave Hart still in that role, technically, to do some of that stuff. Your thoughts on the delay? The reaction's pretty negative. I don't know. I look at it from a business sense. It's a huge decision. We've seen Tennessee make the wrong decisions in these areas in the past. I don't see the rush. I mean, I think a new athletic director could certainly help Butch Jones, no question. But I don't know that that would speed me up to the point that I would risk making a poor decision. Your thoughts, guys, on whether or not they're taking too much time with this or not?
Well, I'm surprised it's taken this much time. In the last few months, we described it as the AD search. I don't even know if the AD search has begun yet. If they're in the search for the search to begin, I guess. So I think the frustration should just be about the point of you're wondering, okay, who is actually guiding the direction in Beverly Davenport, who is an unknown name. How much direction is there really when she comes in? How comfortable are you with that? The concern about who Tennessee ends up hiring, I think that's gone now overboard, and I think David Blackburn would be a great choice. But on Sports 180, this is not entirely scientific, but we ran the poll, is it Blackburn or bust for you? And it's like 80% said yes. So
based on just the fact that he was over there, that's
right. And again, I think he would be a great hire, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other good candidates as well.
I spoke to somebody this week. I spoke to 3 people actually inside the athletic department. One of them told me point blank, said, "Love David Blackburn, friend of mine. I would love to work for David Blackburn. I have no idea if he can run a $100 million business." Now the point was, if your option is go grab David Blackburn, or do a search, find somebody who you can talk to from another Power 5 school that's run an athletic department this big before, then judge the two against each other. I really don't have a problem with that. I would probably go Blackburn too, but I wouldn't rush into it just because, well, he went to UT.
Well, it's more than that, John. I mean, it's the relationships he had while he was there, and a lot of people that felt he shouldn't have left in the first place. That he would have been a good hire other than not having the athletic director experience. I mean, it's more than just a diploma or the fact that he was at UT. He did a really good job and built a lot of relationships.
I think a lot of it was he was at UT. I mean, that's.
Well, that is a lot of it.
He's done a good job at Chattanooga.
But that's the thing I was going to point out. He has done a good job.
Short period of time
it
in
has
a smaller
been.
athletic department.
Yeah. And you said short period of time, and so I've had some people that I think will be in the decision-making process that said it hasn't been enough time. We want somebody with more experience than 3.5 years. So we'll see what road Tennessee goes down.
Part of this, isn't it the fact that we thought there was going to be a decision by December 15th maybe, and then it sounded like maybe February, and then now, Jimmy, it's saying April, May, June. I mean, is it going to be this year? I mean, at some point you start to wonder, isn't that part of, the
But isn't that just the natural fan thing? Now, do it now. Why isn't it done? I want it done. Why do you have to have it done now?
Well, I
How
thought-
does it impact anyone's life? My life hasn't changed.
But if you go back to say October, even into November, you're thinking you got to have somebody in charge when the coaching carousel for football starts there in early December. What happens if Butch Jones leaves, or if you got to get rid of Butch Jones or something like? Well, as it turned out, they got through that timeline okay. Now if it's April or May, what about if Rick Barnes in March decides to leave or whatever? You certainly want your new guy in charge. But my point is, I think Tennessee kind of lucked out in a way that they got through the football carousel apparently without having to have somebody make a decision. And you hope they get through that basketball time.
If you didn't have faith enough in Dave Hart to extend him, would you have faith to say, okay, emergency situation, you're in the chair still, go find us a coach? Or, and this is, to me, this seems like the bigger issue. Since Big Jim Haslam kind of took off the hat, and he's no longer running things in a way that I think a lot of people used to remember it, I think you've got a bit of a power grab over there. From the people I've talked to, it's like, well, who's in charge of this thing? Well, it's this guy. And then somebody else says, no, it's this guy. Okay, if I talk to 3 different people and they all say somebody different's running the show, that's a bad sign. To me, that's your big issue, is who's going to be controlling this department moving forward. At Oregon, you have donors who give money, but everybody knows Phil Knight's the guy. I think it used to be that way in a big extent here, not completely the same, but with Jim Haslam. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Jimmy's got the Cleveland Browns. Charlie Anderson is involved. You've got a number of people who are involved in it. I just wonder if there aren't a lot of guys who say, well, I write a check. Why aren't I making this call?
I can tell you this, and I feel very comfortable in telling you this. There were a lot of people that wanted this decision to be made in December. And there were some others that said, no, we need to wait. The Chancellor Davenport needs to have her input. She needs to sit in on all these meetings. So there was a split about how quickly this thing should be done. And now we're going to see it apparently take place well beyond February. I think I was the first to say it would be at least February, and now it looks like it's going to be later than that because they haven't even put together their own search committee, much less hired their search firm.
Now, I will say this on behalf of Davenport, just very quickly, you cannot hire a new chancellor and then make the first decision, set her up to be a puppet. Can't do it. You just can't. Because of everything else she's going to have to do for the university, you can't have every legislator over there in Nashville know, I don't need to talk to her, let's go to X. So I know there are people out there saying, well, who needs her? Who needs her to get involved? Well, the school does.
Yeah, really, that's part of it.
That's the thing. If the school goes away, so does the football team. If the football team goes away, school goes on. People forget that.
One other quick note, the athletic director at Cincinnati, who I think Davenport would like to take a look at, was at Colorado when Butch Jones spurned Colorado, which I thought was interesting. Because there have been reports he took the Colorado job.
Right.
And then he didn't go to Colorado. That's the AD who's now at Cincinnati, who's now a candidate at Tennessee.
Makes you wonder
Mike
what Butch
Bone.
would think
Mike
about
Bone.
that. All right, interesting stuff. When we come back, hey, we've still got plenty on the UT coaching staff, football staff changes that could be coming. We're going to talk football recruiting. Up next, Tennessee basketball. They lose last night. Does this team have a want-to problem? Come on back.